Psychickers, welcome back to the channel where we delve into the fascinating world of psychology. Today's topic might hit a little close to home for some of you: narcissism. Now, the word narcissist gets thrown around a lot these days. Someone brags about their fancy car, they must be a narcissist. Your friend constantly needs compliments, textbook narcissist, right? But hold on a second. True narcissism, from a psychological standpoint, is a more complex issue than just a bit of self-absorption. So buckle up, psychickers, because we're about to unpack the psychology of narcissism. We'll explore the signs, the potential causes, and the impact it can have on relationships. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer understanding of what narcissism truly is and how to navigate situations involving someone with narcissistic tendencies. The word narcissism has a fascinating origin story that perfectly captures the essence of the disorder. It comes from a Greek myth about a handsome young man named Narcissus. According to the legend, Narcissus was renowned for his beauty, but he was also incredibly vain. One day, a nymph named Echo, cursed by the goddess Hera to only repeat the last words spoken to her, fell deeply in love with Narcissus. However, Narcissus, with his inflated sense of self-importance, rejected her advances. Heartbroken, Echo faded away, leaving only her voice to whisper through the trees. Nemesis, the goddess of revenge, witnessed this and decided to punish Narcissus for his cruelty. She led him to a pool of water with a perfectly still surface. As Narcissus bent down to drink, he became captivated by his own reflection. He mistook his reflection for another person of unparalleled beauty and fell in love with it. Unable to grasp this other being, Narcissus became consumed by his own image, eventually withering away from neglect. The myth of Narcissus serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of excessive self-absorption and the importance of genuine connection. It perfectly encapsulates the core features of narcissistic personality disorder: the inflated sense of self-importance, the desperate need for admiration, and the inability to form meaningful relationships. What is narcissistic personality disorder? Let's start with the official stuff. Narcissistic personality disorder, which from now on we'll refer to as NPD, is a mental health condition characterized by an inflated sense of self-importance, a deep need for admiration, and a lack of empathy for others. People with NPD often have a fragile sense of self-esteem that they prop up through external validation. They believe they are superior to others and deserve special treatment. Okay, so how do we spot a narcissist? Here are some red flags. Grandiosity. Narcissists have an exaggerated sense of their own importance, achievements, and talents. They might constantly brag about themselves or downplay the accomplishments of others. Need for admiration. They crave constant admiration and praise. They might fish for compliments or become easily offended if they feel they're not getting enough attention. Sense of entitlement. They believe they deserve special treatment and privileges. They might expect others to cater to their needs and have a sense of outrage when things don't go their way. Lack of empathy. They have difficulty understanding or caring about the feelings of others. They might be insensitive to the needs of loved ones or even take pleasure in the misfortune of others. Interpersonal exploitativeness. They use others for personal gain, often manipulating situations or people to get what they want. Arrogant behavior. They have an arrogant attitude and a sense of superiority. They might look down on others or dismiss their opinions. Fantasy. They indulge in fantasies of wealth, power, success, or beauty. It's important to remember these are just some of the signs, and not everyone who exhibits a few of these traits has NPD. A diagnosis should be made by a qualified mental health professional. If you're watching this video and wondering if some of the signs of narcissism resonate with you, it's commendable that you're engaging in self-reflection. Here's the thing. While NPD can be challenging for those around you, it can also be a source of internal struggle for the person with the disorder. Seeking professional help is crucial if you suspect you might have NPD. A therapist can provide a safe space to explore your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. They can help you understand the root of your narcissistic tendencies and develop healthier coping mechanisms. Here are some signs that seeking professional help could be beneficial. Do you find yourself constantly needing validation from others? Do you struggle to understand or empathize with the feelings of loved ones? Do your relationships often feel one-sided, with your needs taking priority? Do you find yourself easily angered or offended by criticism? Do you have a tendency to manipulate situations or people to get what you want? It's important to remember, a diagnosis of NPD doesn't have to be a life sentence. With therapy and commitment, you can learn to develop a healthier sense of self, improve your relationships, and experience greater emotional well-being. Remember, sidekickers, seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. By taking the first step towards positive change, you can build a more fulfilling and meaningful life for yourself and those around you. Stay tuned for understanding how NPD can hurt relationships, no matter if you're the giving the harm side or the receiving one. The exact cause of NPD remains a mystery, but psychologists believe it's likely a combination of genetic and environmental factors. Let's delve deeper into some potential contributors. Childhood experiences. A person's upbringing can significantly influence their sense of self. Excessive praise in childhood can inflate a child's ego, leading them to believe they're superior to others. Conversely, neglect or emotional abuse can leave a child feeling worthless, creating a desperate need for external validation in adulthood. Consider two siblings raised in the same household. One constantly praised for their achievements, the other constantly criticized. The praised child might develop narcissistic tendencies, while the criticized child might struggle with low self-esteem. Parenting styles. Authoritarian parenting styles, characterized by strict rules and a lack of emotional warmth, can contribute to a child developing a fragile sense of self. Overprotective parenting, where a child's needs are constantly met without them learning to cope with frustration, can also foster a sense of entitlement. Imagine a child who never faces consequences for their actions, who is constantly told they're special or gifted without any basis in reality. This child might grow up believing they're superior to others and deserving of special treatment. Speaking of which, we will be exploring parenting styles with suggestions on how to and how not to raise a child in our future videos. If you dream of being the best parent you can be, subscribe now and turn the notifications on to be the first one to know when we publish a new video. We grow with your support, and having you on board is an honor for us. Let's get back to the potential causes. Genetics. Research suggests that there might be a genetic predisposition to NPD. However, it's important to understand that genes don't necessarily guarantee the development of the disorder. Environmental factors play a significant role in how these genetic predispositions manifest. For example, a child with a genetic predisposition to NPD might only develop the disorder if they experience a particularly traumatic childhood or are raised by overly critical or neglectful parents. Trauma. Traumatic experiences like abuse or neglect can also contribute to the development of NPD. These experiences can leave a person with a distorted sense of self and a deep need for control. They might develop narcissistic tendencies as a way to protect themselves from further emotional pain. Imagine a child who experiences physical or emotional abuse. They might develop a sense of grandiosity as a defense mechanism, believing themselves to be superior and untouchable to avoid feeling vulnerable. It's important to note that these are just some of the potential contributing factors to NPD. The exact cause likely varies from person to person. Additionally, some experts believe that cultural factors can also play a role. Societies that emphasize individualism, materialism, and outward success might create an environment where narcissism is more likely to flourish. Being in a relationship with someone who has NPD can be incredibly draining and emotionally abusive. Here's why. One-sided focus. Relationships become one-sided with all the focus on the narcissist's needs and desires. The partner's needs and feelings are constantly disregarded, creating a dynamic of emotional neglect. Manipulation and control. Narcissists often manipulate and control their partners to maintain their sense of superiority. They might use guilt trips, emotional blackmail, or even threats to keep their partners under their control. Constant need for validation. They constantly seek validation and admiration from their partners, leaving their partners emotionally exhausted from having to constantly prop up the narcissist's fragile ego. Erosion of self-esteem. The critical nature and lack of empathy of narcissists can chip away at their partner's self-esteem. Over time, partners might start to believe the negative things the narcissists say about them, leading to feelings of worthlessness and self-doubt. Isolation. Narcissists might isolate their partners from friends and family to maintain control and prevent them from seeing through their facade. This isolation can leave the partner feeling alone and vulnerable. Having identified the potential signs of narcissism, let's equip ourselves with strategies to navigate interactions with someone who exhibits these tendencies. Here are some tips to protect your mental well-being. Set boundaries. This is crucial. Narcissists often test boundaries to see how much they can get away with. Be clear about what you will and will not tolerate. Communicate your expectations firmly and consistently. For example, if a friend constantly cancels plans last minute, you might have to set a boundary by saying, "I value our friendship, but I can't keep making time for you if you cancel at the last minute. If you need to reschedule, let me know with ample notice." Maintain distance. In some cases, depending on the severity of the narcissistic behavior and your relationship with the person, physical and emotional distance might be necessary. This doesn't necessarily mean cutting them off completely, but it might involve limiting contact or interactions. Prioritize your mental health and well-being. Don't engage in arguing. Narcissists thrive on conflict. They might try to bait you into arguments to make you feel bad about yourself or to regain control of the situation. Don't get sucked into their emotional games. If a conversation becomes heated, excuse yourself and walk away. You can always revisit the conversation later when things have calmed down. Focus on yourself. Don't allow a narcissist to consume your emotional energy. Focus on your own needs and well-being. Spend time with supportive people who make you feel good about yourself. Engage in activities you enjoy and that nourish your spirit. Prioritize self-care practices like meditation, exercise, or spending time in nature to manage stress and maintain emotional resilience. Don't take it personally. Narcissists often project their insecurities onto others. Their negative comments or criticisms are more about them than you. Try to detach from their negativity and remind yourself that their words don't define your worth. We would like to share a quote with you here that deeply resonates with us. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. This goes for both sides, the person with MPD and the person who they are in a relationship with. Remember, you cannot change a narcissist. Trying to reason with them or expecting them to change their behavior is likely to be an exercise in futility. The focus should be on protecting yourself and setting boundaries to minimize the negative impact on your own well-being and, if possible, advising them to see a counselor. If you're struggling in a relationship with a narcissist, it's important to seek support. Here are some resources that can help. Therapy. A therapist can provide individual or couples therapy to help you develop coping mechanisms, set boundaries, and improve your communication skills. Support groups. Connecting with others who understand your situation can be incredibly validating. Support groups can provide a safe space to share your experiences and receive encouragement. Online resources. There are many online resources available that offer information and support for those dealing with narcissism. the National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI, and the American Psychological Association, APA, are good starting points. There it is, the simplified version of narcissistic personality disorder. We know that the things covered in this video is easier said than done, but for those who have or might have NPD, and those who think they're suffering from a relationship with a person who has NPD, it is always important to remember one thing and one thing only. Put yourself first. You have to be in a good mental state to be able to provide support for others. If you were a doctor in a war zone and were shot during the war, bleeding on the ground, it would be extremely hard, if not impossible, to cure others, correct? Think of this situation as the same. Wow, today's topic was intense, right? And despite this, it is only the tip of the iceberg. Psychology is an endless sea of valuable insights to the civilization's most important building block, humans. In our journey of discovering the beautiful, intriguing, and mysterious aspects of psychology, your support is extremely important to us. How can you support us and get valuable information in the meantime? Step 1. Subscribe us and turn the notifications on to be the first to know when we publish a new video. Step 2. Share this video with your friends who you believe will provide great value and help their lives. Step 3. Comment down below about the value you've seen in this video and what you want to learn next. It is as simple as this. Thank you for watching and supporting us. Your presence is deeply appreciated, and we look forward to meeting you in our next video. In the meantime, if you're interested in learning more about narcissism, check out the links in the description below. Bye!